Okay.
So, what did we do today?
Today it was called the Recovering Overcommitter, the cost of not saying no. And we introduced there's 5 ways that you make action happen in language. There's a Matthew Budd book called You Are What You Say. And we focused on requests and promises. This is where we navigate asking for support and help at work and home. There's things that we need to do that we coordinate efforts with each other. And so there's someone that's making a request, and on the other end, there are someone making a promise to support you. And when we started to ask people if they felt comfortable, if they were getting a request to say no, that it was okay if it was a really good reason, there was a lot of hesitancy. And Ian, there were a few things that people said the reason why they didn't feel comfortable to say no.
Yeah, I think a lot of it centered around either guilt that they felt like they couldn't say no, or they thought they might be seen in a way that wasn't going to show them in a good light.
And on the flip side, we talked about when we don't say no, our to-do lists get super, super big. And people were very aware that they had a lot on their plate, their to-do plate. And we introduced we know that there is a resistance to say no, career limiting decisions, some of the things you talked about. But when we don't say no and we always say yes, we are losing our capacity to renegotiate. So in a request and a promise, you can say yes, you can say no, and you can renegotiate. So the practice today was to explore renegotiation, to start to build capacity around what does that look like, feel like? How does it navigate in a coaching conversation?
So what we did with them, we got them to get the to-do list at least out of their head onto a piece of paper, anything they could think of as far as, work, things that they've promised for work, for home, whatever, or things they've even promised to themselves. They put it all on that list, and then we gave them an opportunity to reflect on and select one that they wanted to either revisit or renegotiate. We then sent them off to their individual coaching groups where they were able to either coach somebody through the renegotiation process or the exploration of that item, or for them to be able to explore it for themselves. And to help them out, we gave them a expanded coaching question starter kit to help them hang out in relationship and possibility a lot longer, to allow that exploration to take place, to get out of their head, and just to have the permission to explore what it would be like to renegotiate that item with that person.
And then when they came back, we often ask, what happened in each of the roles, because this is a learning environment. We're building coaching capacity muscles. And regardless of the chair you're in, whether you're coaching or the person that was being coached, what was interesting, what people said, most of them said that just writing the to-do list, to be able to see it and then to be able to articulate taking one and saying it out loud, getting, like you just talked about earlier, getting out of their heads, was allowing them the option and the possibility. And some of them said, I have an action to basically do it a different way. I was able to see what I could renegotiate, and I had a way forward on that particular one that I had chosen to explore.
And I think just the act of doing this for one particular item has now opened them up to know it's okay to renegotiate at any point, whether it's in the moment or after the fact. And some of them said, yeah, I wrote to my spouse, can you take on XYZ? And they're like, yeah, sure. Immediate relief, right? So yeah, so that was the basis for today. And I think people got a lot out of it.
Yeah, there was a bit of a group that stayed behind, and there was a lot of, why don't we do this more? Like, just ask. And as you said, people were texting and getting yeses without even a question. Yet it was had been on their to-do list plate for a long time.
Cool. Anyways, another great session and look forward to seeing you on the next one.